Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're getting ready for your Class 10 social science exams, you've come to the exact right place. Today, we're going to break down the entire 2019 Haryana Board paper question by question to help you feel super prepared.
Now, before we jump in, let's give credit where it's due. This whole analysis has been put together with a ton of care by Mukesh Kumar Jain, who's a lecturer in economics, so you know we're in good hands here.
So here's our game plan. We're going to kick things off with political science, then make our way through geography, and finish up strong with economics. We're covering the whole shebang, from the quick one-markers all the way to those detailed 6-mark questions. So, you ready? Let's get started. First up, political science. We're going to start with the quick-fire 1-mark questions. These are awesome for snagging some quick points and building up your confidence right at the start.
All right, let's knock these out. For question 9, Sinhala became the official language in Sri Lanka back in 1956, which was a pretty major event. For question 10, about 40.2% of people in India are Hindi speakers. Question 11 asks about the FIDE Corps organization. That's from Bolivia. And hang on to that name because it's going to pop up again later. And finally, question 12. Yardanka was a student from a case study about the challenges to democracy. She was the one who questioned a grading system.
Okay, let's build on that. Now we're moving into the slightly longer questions, the 2 and 3 markers, where you really need to show you understand the core concepts. Question 13 asks you to define ethnic. Well, it's just a social division based on a shared culture. Simple as that. For question 14, the big goal of the movement in Nepal was all about one thing, bringing back democracy. And question 15 is about election funding reforms. Basically, 2 big ideas here. Have the government help pay for elections and make sure political parties are transparent about their income by filing returns. See, I told you we'd be back to Bolivia. For question 16, that movement against water privatization was led by FIDE Corps, which wasn't just one group, but a coalition of engineers, farmers, and even environmentalists. Now, question 17 lays out the rules for a state party. You need at least 6% of the total votes in a state election, plus you have to win at least 2 seats. Think of parties like the Aam Aadmi Party or Akali Dal. And for question 18, what's a non-democratic system? Well, it's a system where citizens just don't get those basic rights to equality, freedom, and dignity. And here we have a big one, a 6-mark question on Indian federalism. The magic here is seeing how all these pieces fit together. It starts with having multiple levels of government, central, state, and local. But the power isn't all in one place. It's split up through different lists, the union, state, and concurrent lists. Our Constitution is also pretty solid on the big stuff, so one level can't just change the rules on its own. And what happens if there's a disagreement? Well, that's where the independent judiciary comes in, acting like a referee. Finally, each level has its own sources of money, so it can actually get things done. Now, the alternative question is all about political parties, and you can see here just how vital they are. Yeah, of course, they run in elections and form the government, but they do so much more. They help make laws and shape what we, the public, are talking about. And don't forget the flip side. The party that loses has a super important job too, to be the opposition, which keeps the government in check and our democracy strong. All right, let's switch gears and head over to geography. We're going to be talking about everything from amazing national parks to the resources that lie beneath our feet. Time for some rapid-fire geography. Question 20, Kaziranga National Park? That's in Assam, home of the one-horned rhino. Question 21, a major rabi or winter crop is gram. Question 22 asks what a mineral is. Basically, it's a pure, natural substance with a specific internal structure. And for question 23, groundwater? Think of it like this. When it rains, some of that water soaks down into the ground and collects there. That's it. Okay, for questions 24 and 25, we've got 2 important ideas. First up, agro-based industries. The name kind of gives it away, right? These are industries that rely on agriculture for their raw materials, like cotton for clothes or sugarcane for sugar. Second, we have potential resources. It's like having a treasure chest that you know is there, but you just haven't opened it yet. Think of all the untapped wind and solar energy in places like Rajasthan and Gujarat. Let's move on to the more practical side of geography now, looking at some massive projects and the communication networks that are, quite literally, the lifelines of our economy. So question 26 is about multi-purpose projects. In simple terms, these projects build dams on rivers to do a bunch of things all at once. So what are the benefits? Well, if you remember nothing else, remember these 3. They generate electricity from water, they provide water for farming, and they help control floods.
Question 27 is all about communication, and check out how this slide breaks it down so clearly. On one side, you've got personal communication, things like letters and phone calls, which are usually one-on-one. And on the other side, you've got mass communication, radio, TV, newspapers, the internet, which can reach millions of people all at the same time.
Okay, but so what? How does this actually affect the economy? Well, in a huge way. It helps businesses by connecting them to markets, it powers globalization through sectors like BPOs, it gives farmers critical info on weather and prices, and it fuels growth with tools we use every day, like e-banking and e-commerce. All right, time for some map work. For question 28, you've got to know where these three spots are. The Periyar Tiger Reserve is down in Kerala, the Kaigan Nuclear Power Plant is in Karnataka, and the Digboy oil field, which is one of India's oldest, is in Assam. You should definitely practice finding these on a map.
All right, we're on the home stretch now. Let's dive into our final section, economics. We're talking about development, money, and your rights as a consumer. Stuff that really does affect us every single day. Let's finish off the one-mark questions with a bang. Question 29, any activity that uses natural resources directly, like farming, falls into the primary sector. Question 30 asks how we measure a country's development. The answer is all of the above. Real development isn't just about money, it's also about health and education. For 31, who issues currency notes in India? That's the Reserve Bank of India, or RBI. And finally, 32, WTO stands for the World Trade Organization.
Moving on to rural development. Question 33 is about MGNREGA. The key thing to remember is that it's a legal guarantee of 100 days of employment in rural areas. Question 34 looks at the benefits of self-help groups, or SHGs. They provide loans at fair interest rates, which is huge because it gets people away from local moneylenders, and they help people, especially women, become financially independent.
Okay, pay close attention to this one because this affects every single one of us. Question 35 lists our 6 fundamental consumer rights. Knowing these is so empowering. Take the right to safety, for example. It means you're protected from products that could actually hurt you. You also have the right to be informed, to choose, to be heard, to get problems fixed, and the right to consumer education.
The alternative question is about sustainability. So, why is this so important? Well, the whole idea is simple. What we do today shouldn't mess things up for the people who come after us. It's about being smart with our limited resources, protecting our environment, aiming for a better quality of life for everyone, and making sure that our progress can actually last.
And just like that, we've made it through the entire paper. We've tackled political science, we've navigated geography, and we've decoded economics. So let's quickly wrap up with the key takeaways and what you should do next.
Now, to make all of this revision so much easier for you, we've put together a PDF of this entire solved paper. It's an amazing resource to help you practice and make sure all these concepts stick. The download link is waiting for you right there in the description. So, I want to leave you with one final question to think about. After going through all of this, governance, resources, economic rights, what do you think is the single biggest challenge facing India's development today? It's a big question, for sure, but definitely one worth considering. Thanks for sticking with me, and all the best with your studies.